The most successful people are the most denied people. The most successful people have been denied more in their life than they've been okay. When you're starting out, it's like taking that roller coaster ride up and you don't know what the drop is going to look like on the other end. Well, it's the same thing when it comes down to entrepreneurship and building success and wealth. As you're going up, you can't see what's on the mountaintop when you're in the valley. We weren't created to be alone. We weren't created for God to give us our gifts and talents to just leave to ourselves. It's about partnership. It's about community, and that all starts in the home. You know, we tell couples that get married, just because you said I do today doesn't mean you're now a husband and a wife. You just got the title. Now you got to learn how to live it out. My prayers changed to God, give me the partner I need, not the partner that I want. It's tough to get to a wealthy place. Like, you can make some money in real estate by yourself, but to really start making some major money.
Welcome to another episode of Access Granted, where I give you exclusive access to entrepreneurs who are killing it in their industry. Today, I have a special friend. You guys might know him as Demetrius or Meat, that's going to share some insight on just how to go to the next level. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. You guys have so many amazing things going on. We had your wife on a couple of weeks ago, and people just loved the LovePreneur and everything that she has going on. So I was like, let me get her husband. We're going to have to do you guys together one day. I think I like that too. Well, we try to just share some gems, share some value. But before we dive in, I would love for you to just tell my audience a little bit about you and your journey and what you do.
For sure, definitely. I've been an entrepreneur now 23 years. Started out in the car business and real estate, and built businesses since then. And it's just been a journey. I literally haven't had a job in 23 years.
Yeah.
And it's just been an amazing ride. So many lessons, so many things that I've been through. And the crazy part is, as an entrepreneur, when you first start out, you're going through things and like, you don't understand why you're going through them. I'm on the other side of that now. Now I get to appreciate some of the hard lessons of entrepreneurship, of real estate that I dealt with early on, where it was like, wow, I'm going through this, which I know a lot of newer entrepreneurs go through. But it's been an amazing ride to build what we have going on now. God's been amazing and blessed us, and great part is I get to do it with my wife. I get to do it also with my children being unschooled. They are in the business, seeing the business in meetings, viewing contracts and everything with me. So it's an amazing life that we get to live right now.
I love that. And you touched on something that I think a lot of people battle with. We, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we face obstacles in the beginning, and most people give up, right? They don't fight through it. They don't try to overcome those obstacles. They're like, you know what, let me just go back to the 9 to 5, or let me start another business. What advice would you give maybe to somebody that's watching this right now and they're like, you know what, I can't take it anymore?
Oh, that's such a good question. The most successful people are the most denied people. The most successful people have been denied more in their life than they've been okay. And when you're starting out, you don't understand what's on the opposite end yet. So everything is scary. It's like taking that roller coaster ride up and you don't know what the drop is going to look like on the other end. Well, it's the same thing when it comes down to entrepreneurship and building success and wealth. As you're going up, you can't see what's on the mountaintop when you're in the valley. And it's very important to make sure that you have a support system and you have people in your life and mentorship that is at the mountaintop looking down at you on the valley to help direct you and say, hey, don't go that way, go this way. Watch out for that step. That's going to be a deep one. It's going to be a hole for you to fall in if you don't pay attention to this. So I didn't have that when I started. And I've learned that along the way. And that's why I'm so intentional about helping other people. I don't help and just work with anybody and everybody, but I'm very selective on people that I see that are hungry. I'm at my mountaintop right now, although there's mountains higher than mine. But I'm able to look from my mountaintop and help bring other people that are starting in the valley. So that's super key. I
love that. I always coach and tell people that connecting with the right mentor and having the community and the support, it's your cheat code. It's your GPS. Now you have somebody that can say, hey, turn left, or hey, turn right, or I've done this, especially in the real estate space.
Oh, for sure.
I have a little experience in real estate, not a lot, but if I had a real estate mentor, I know that I would be my portfolio would be crazy.
Definitely.
And so having that mentor and that support and that coach is, I think, everybody needs.
Definitely.
What point did you realize, like, hey, I probably need somebody, or did you, say, hey, I probably need somebody to help me out with this a little bit? And if I'm watching this, what point do you think I should invest into a mentor or a coach?
Definitely. I would say definitely right away. Crazy part is, like, for me, I use my experience. When I first started out, I felt like I wanted to have the S on my chest and be Superman. Mm-hmm. I felt like I didn't need no help. I didn't need no mentor. I got this. And I just kept hitting brick walls. Like, my first property took me a whole year to rehab. This was before I got into new construction. It took me a whole year to rehab my first property. And I just kept making mistakes. I was paying for stuff two and three times. I didn't know anything about systems and, financing. I paid out of pocket. Those were some of the things that if I would have got a mentor early in the game, I wouldn't have to go through some of the pitfalls that I did. So it's important to understand when you're starting out, don't be prideful. Don't be too prideful to ask for help. Mm-hmm. Don't be too prideful to reach out to people that you see doing things at another level than you are, because it only hurts yourself. It's not you hurting them, it's you hurting yourself. Don't be too prideful to make the financial investment that it takes to get the right mentorship, because it'll save you time, which is the most important commodity that you have. It also saves you from some of the pitfalls that you will go through by yourself. Mm-hmm. And the key is this. A lot of people think mentorship is like, oh, I won't have to do this or go through this if I get a mentor. It's not the case. You're still going to have to go through your lessons, but it's super important to realize that a mentor can help you deal with what you're dealing with. Because sometimes you can get yourself to a certain point and then it feels like you hit a wall. Well, a mentor will be there to say, okay, when you hit this wall, because you will, this is how you get over it to keep going on your path and not take too long to stay in the same place, which a lot of people do. And then they wind up either getting out of the business or they see a shiny object syndrome. They'll see something else or see somebody else looking like they're succeeding in another industry, and now they're trying all these different industries.
You have multiple things you're trying to juggle. Personal experience, I was rehabbing a building, and contractor, trusting him with my vision, and he goes to pull the contracts. Well, my building was over a certain age, so the bathroom was actually grandfathered in. So there were certain things that I didn't have to do to the bathroom. Well, he wasn't as knowledgeable as he should have been, and I wasn't. So it ended up costing me $10,000 versus I really didn't have to do anything at all. So if I had that support, if I had that mentor or that coach next to me to say, hey, nah, you don't. That's $10,000 that I could have put into something else. Definitely. Or $10,000 that I could have saved. So I love that you touched on that, because that's something I push and I encourage, and I tell everybody to just connect with the right person. For sure. Rub the right shoulders. Trying to do it on your own is just exhausting sometimes.
It really is. And it's super important when you're starting out, like as you are trying to put your projects together, to make sure that you get at least 3 different estimates for every sub that you need. Don't just rely on the first one you come across, or because my friend or my boyfriend or girlfriend or cousin used this contractor, I'm just automatically go with them. You want to make sure that you get at least 3 different estimates for each sub that you need. So if you need plumbing, get three estimates from 3 different plumbing companies. You need sheetrock, get estimates from 3 different ones. And what I love to do, especially if I'm going into a new market, I will go and literally drive around areas and look for projects that are currently being worked on, so that way I can go in and assess their work in real time.
Oh, that's
I don't have to wonder if, like, is this guy good at doing plumbing? No, let me pull up on a job site that this guy is currently working on and see how the plumbing is ran. Is it neat? Is it to spec? Is it to code? Like, all those things matter. So that's kind of a cheat code to make sure you get good people. You want to go to areas and markets where current work is being done and pull up on these guys. Hey, I see you doing sheetrock. Can I walk through the project? There's projects that I walk through and don't even say nothing to nobody. They just think I'm another person coming to assess the job. They don't even know I got nothing to do with this project. I literally go right in and walk all through the project looking at the work to find out if I want to use these guys or not. So that's a little hack, a little gem that I would say you guys should use. But and then even knowing how to budget out your project, making sure that you're not giving too much money too soon to the contractors.
That's good. That's good.
And starting out, it is a little harder to work with some of these guys, especially when you don't know what you're doing yet. But the more seasoned you get and the more they understand that you do multiple projects and you can continue to make them money as a contractor, and this is a conversation you have to have with them, the better they are with breaking down the budget.
That's good.
So you may give a third up front. You may give a third in the middle. You give a third on the back end. There's all different ways and structures that you can do with the budget with the contractors, but I never, ever want any of y'all to give all the money up front.
Yep.
I get so many people that reach out to me that do that. I've even had people that I've told this to and still go through it. Well, he was pressuring me. He was this. Don't worry. If they pressuring you, that's not the contractor you want. You don't want to work with that person. So it's super key to make sure that you are doing the due diligence, and this is where mentorship helps. We've been through all the pain points. We know what you are facing and what you will face if you don't listen. So it's super key to make sure you have that mentorship.
Oh, that's awesome. So what would be, if I want to start, I want to dive into real estate. I have a good personal credit profile. I don't really have a lot of knowledge, but I've heard that, most millionaires have a little piece of real estate, and I want that journey. I want that for me. How would I start? What would be your advice to me on how to start in getting to purchasing real estate or purchasing a piece of an investment property?
What I would recommend is that you get involved in the network first. Join a mastermind group, join some type of group where these conversations are being had every day. You can jump online and you got courses you can take. I don't recommend people just jumping in right away, right? You want to get some education on the industry and how to put and structure deals, how to vet deals, how to put budgets together. All these things are important because if you just start with the knowledge you have, which a lot of times is bare minimum for people, you will lose money. So you want to try to go in with some education. So I would recommend being a part of someone's mentorship group before you even spend money. Get some knowledge, ask some questions, get in a group where you can ask questions to people that actually have the answers and have the experience, not just somebody online that, I went to YouTube and I just watched this guy talk. The way that things are now, when we started out, we didn't have ChatGPT. We didn't have, Google wasn't as strong as it was. You didn't have YouTube like that. But some of these people are literally in somebody else's course or mastermind, and then 2 days later, they're recording segments teaching real estate. That's not who you want to be mentored by. You want to be a part of a group where you can reach out and touch these people. So that would be my first recommendation. Get some education from somebody that really knows what they're doing. Ask the hard questions. Ask the questions. Ask them, what questions should I be asking you? And let them answer that. And then you will want to find out what market you want to be in. And then you want to, through that group, they should give you the resources that you need in that area so you can start making some deals, getting with some wholesalers. It really depends on how you're coming in and what your time looks like. Like, is this something you're doing full time? Do you work a job? Like, there's so many different scenarios. But most importantly, getting in a group where you can get some education and mentorship before you start investing money in real estate would be my first thing.
That education piece is key. Since we're touching on education, of course, I follow you and your wife on social media, and I know a little bit about your journey, but you recently just decided to, what's the proper term? Remove your kids from school. What's the correct term for that?
Unschool.
Yes. Unschool. And so, of course, I know a little bit, but I love that you have them involved in so many other things. And so my background is finance. I worked for Wells Fargo for 15 years, but the reason I really started teaching education and grants and financial literacy is because while working at the bank, I noticed people didn't come inside, or people that came inside the bank didn't have the knowledge that they needed. But one key thing that stood out to me while working at the bank is minorities wouldn't bring their kids in the bank with them to do business. Other races would bring their kids in.
Yes.
They would sit them down. They would watch them close on loans or open up credit cards and do banking business. Where minorities, stay out of grown folks' business, and they would keep their kids in the car and bring them a dumb sucker out later. So I seen a huge gap. The 15 years, I can't count on my hands how many minority people brought their kids inside to open up teen checking accounts, teen credit cards, college accounts, anything like that. So I really wanted to start teaching this information. So I love that you have your kids right there with you.
Yes.
I mean, I seen them taking a stock course with Wall Street Trapper, and they're
Shout out to Trap.
Yeah, and they're in his program, and just there's so many amazing things that you're doing. So how was that journey, and why did you make the decision to just say, hey, we can do so much more and teach them so much more on our own?
Such a good question. So my daughter did first grade in a regular traditional school. My son, he's never been to school. And then the year that my daughter was in first or going to second, we told the principal that we were taking our kids to Dubai for like 9 days. And, just want to give her the heads up, see if there's any information, any project that she needs to do while she's gone. We'll make sure she gets her work done upon our return. And so the principal told us that she can't go. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I respect your opinion, but this is my child, and yes, she is going. We can make sure that as we travel, we connect projects to the travel for her to submit for her grades. Whatever we need to do, we'll make sure educationally she is doing what she's supposed to do. And so the principal wasn't for it. She's like, we got a very good rating for our school for attendance and our network, yada, yada, yada. Cool. So we left, and literally the whole time I was in Dubai, I was uncomfortable. Like I really couldn't 100% enjoy the trip because all I thought about was someone had the audacity to think they would have control over my children. They would want to stop them from having a life-changing experience for some stats in a school system. And literally, I went down a rabbit hole of studying the school system, how it was set up, who set it up. I mean, all the way back from John Rockefeller and his squad that actually put the curriculums and everything in schools, and they were created to create employees. That didn't sit well with me. Then I thought about it. I mean, I do know some teachers that are doing very well and have invested their money and got into other things, but the average teacher would not be able to teach my kid in 12 years how to become at least a 7-figure earner. So why would I waste my kids' time sending them under somebody else's guidance, somebody else's jurisdiction, to waste 12, I'm not going to say waste, but to spend 12 years of their life, come out of school and still don't know what they're going to do moving forward in life and how to make some real money.
Oh, wow.
So I said, we would do much better putting them under our jurisdiction and showing them our everyday life, having them experience what we're experiencing. By the time they get old enough to graduate from high school, they own property, they understand contracts, they understand budgets, they've had credit cards in their name since they were young. They're going to be so much ahead of everybody else because they've been able to live the experience that they read about in books. And so the classes that my kids take now are how to be a millionaire, effective communication, negotiation one-on-one. They're taking courses by teachers that we've hired that are professors at colleges.
Wow.
They don't need us over their back every day. They've been doing it long enough where they're like young college kids. They know their times they need to get up. They know what time they got to be on class. They know when they got to submit things. They got reports to do. We got them involved in so many different things that are all geared around entrepreneurship. So when they're in meetings, when they were younger, they were just listening. Now they're actually giving their opinion. I'm asking my kids' opinion when we're in an architect's office, when we're negotiating a business deal or a partnership we're going to do. I allow them to listen to Zoom calls. And then afterwards, we break down the Zoom calls. They take our notes while they're in a Zoom call to understand how they would do this different, or what they suggest we do, or how did you like the presentation that they did? Do you feel like they're trustworthy? These are all the conversations that we're having as a family after the calls, preparing their minds to be sharp now. They understand business now. When they get 18, it's game over.
We talk about generational wealth all the time, and I think the key to that is education.
Definitely.
And sometimes, I mean, not even sometimes, you don't get that in school
at all.
You know, teachers they're not teaching it. They don't even teach you how to write a check in school anymore. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. Mm-hmm. They don't teach you the basic skills. And I think most of that should be in school. How to purchase your first home, how to maintain your credit score. Mm-hmm. These are things that equip us for life, and they don't even have that in the education or in the curriculum anymore. So I absolutely love what you're doing. Do you guys teach other parents how to do the same?
My wife did put an ebook together for it that's available on her Instagram and one of her links. We don't necessarily teach it, but the ebook is available. It is very descriptive in what needs to be done for a parent that's interested in it. But the most important key is my children are on payroll, and they have to do work. They have assignments weekly that they have to do to earn their keep. It's not just because you're my kid, you get this check from payroll. They work for the money, and then they take the money and put it in the market. Mm-hmm. So these are the things that I would suggest any parent, because as you see, college degrees are not really important anymore. The landscape of the employment system and entrepreneurship is all changing. It's all evolving. You don't want to wait till your kid graduates from high school to now figure out, oh, what do I do with life now? Mm-hmm. How do I pay bills? How do I work?
That's good. So you said they earn their keep. You pay them, they're on the payroll, and then they take it and they put it into the market. But you also have them in an investment course or in courses that teach them about the market.
Yes.
I think a lot of parents, we make or I'm not going to say mistake, but we say, hey, we're going to invest into, I'm going to take your money and put it here. And we don't give them that education piece. We're
Definitely.
like, oh, yeah, I started you a 529 plan, or, oh, I have a little account over here that's paying you 3 or 4% in interest. Yep. But we're not educating them. Definitely. And that's the piece that lasts a lifetime. That's the generational wealth. That's the building the foundation and teaching them a whole nother skill. So I just applaud you and love what you're doing. I think that's huge. I had the pleasure of meeting your baby girl. I had a tour in Atlanta, and she was there in the room, like learning about grants. Yep. And all I could think was, if I knew this skill is she 12? 12. If I knew this skill at 12, if I knew how to write grants at 12, if I knew how to balance and just maintain and kind of do entrepreneurship at 12, I would be, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that. But I love, anytime I see you, you are always supporting somebody else. Definitely. You show up. I mean, any event I've ever had, you're just there. And I think that's huge as well. It just speaks to your character. But you and your wife are just always like locked in. And it's just a model for me, right? The single woman or I'm dating, but the single woman who, has the desire to be married and to be able to see the model of love and entrepreneurship. What are some things or advice that you can have to the couple that's watching this, and maybe they want to start a real estate together, or maybe they are on the journey of starting a business? How do we do that? How do we get started? How do we balance? And what advice do you have? Very,
very good question. You need to understand partnerships and why partnerships are important. Same thing in a real estate game. It's tough to get to a wealthy place. Like, you can make some money in real estate by yourself, but to really, really start making some major money, partnerships is what make it happen. Because we all have different strengths. Your strengths are not going to be mine. You should put together partnerships and teams and groups that you can invest, that everybody doesn't share the same strengths. That's how you really put something together that's worth living out. So when times get hard, or when your back's up against the wall for something, you can collectively come together and say, all right, this is what we're dealing with. Now let's strategize how we get out of this hole, how we handle this, how do we get past this speed bump. And partnership is so important. We weren't created to be alone. We weren't created for God to give us our gifts and talents to just leave to ourselves. It's about partnership. It's about community, and that all starts in the home. And so for a lot of couples, they have to understand, just like your career, just like your business, when you get started, there's going to be a lot of turmoil. You know, we tell couples that get married, just because you said I do today doesn't mean you're now a husband and a wife. You just got the title. Now you got to learn how to live it out. And so that piece is so important to understand. Everything's not going to come packaged the way you see it. You might have that ideal partner in your head of what, oh, my wife is going to be look like this, and she's going to have this and have that. My husband going to be 6'7", 190, 200 pounds with a goatee. Like, it's not going to be packaged 100%. And it's important to understand that you want the partner in your life. Like, this is where my wife and I came together. When my prayer changed, my prayers changed to God, give me the partner I need, not the partner that I want. And so if you have that mindset while you are looking for your partner, like, what do I need in a partner? Let me start paying attention. God, reveal to me what I need. Because one thing you don't want is another you. You're not going to be able to deal with another you in the same house. So what do I need? Let me identify and be real with myself, vulnerable with myself, to understand what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. I need a partner that will fill in those weaknesses. I don't need a partner with the same strengths I have, because that's just going to be consistent clashing and banging at the heads.
Your wife said, I mean, not word for word, but literally, I asked her a very similar question, and it was the same response. Literally the same response. And I love that, because it shows to, you know, what LovePreneur is and what you guys teach. And I just said LovePreneur, but I don't think they know what LovePreneur is unless they've watched the previous episode. Hopefully they did.
Y'all bet if y'all didn't.
Can you tell them a little bit, if they're just watching, a little bit about LovePreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the brands we have is LovePreneur, where we work with couples that are building their relationship and business simultaneously. We don't have to be a fly on the wall to understand how gang related that can be. The good news is that we have the blueprint. We've done the work. We have years in of case studies, and we know what it takes to make it happen. It can happen. We meet with so many couples and say, like, no, it's no way I could work with my spouse. There's no way. It's like, no, there is a way. You just have to be open enough and vulnerable enough to make it happen.
So LovePreneur do you cater to just married couples, or is it for if we're dating and we're
good question?
You know, we're serious, but is it?
Yep, it's we literally work with couples that are looking to be intentional about staying together. Couples that are like, I got this person, we're vibing, but we're not sure if we are ready or compatible with each other. Well, we work with that. Or if it's a couple that's actually been married. Because sometimes you'll get people that have been in a relationship for a long time. Now they're starting entrepreneurship. Or couples that have businesses but don't know how to come together. Because I've been doing it my way this amount of time. He or she's been doing it this way for an amount of time. How do we make it work collectively? And it can work.
I love that, because it's that community.
Definitely.
And I think that's what a lot of people need. Because sometimes I need somebody to talk to outside of my spouse. And it's good to be able to talk to somebody who's married and who has been through the struggle. And now I have somebody to kind of piggyback off of, or somebody to say, hey, you tripping if I'm tripping. So I love that. And I love that community piece.
It's important to make sure that you hang with people that have your answers and not share your problems.
Ooh.
That's the key. You want to be around some couples that y'all don't have the exact same problems. You want to be around couples that either been through it already, or couples that you can actually teach. But all that together is what makes it work. We're not all dealing with the exact same problems at the exact same time.
Oh, that's really good. That is huge. So I don't have to be married,
Nope.
but I need to be serious and committed, and we need to be locked in and ready to go to the next
Gotta be
level.
intentional.
Gotta be intentional.
We don't want to be around people that are not intentional about their time or ours.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, this is good. I want to touch on that real estate piece a little bit more, because people come to me, they DM me all the time. They're like, Coach K, I want real estate. I want $100,000 so I can go buy a piece of property. Or are there grants for real estate? And there are. Home Depot has a grant. They give out $500,000 for real estate. So you can go to Home Depot. You can't just walk up to Home Depot, but you can apply for this grant, and they encourage you to use it for real estate. So when I talk about that, people are like beating down my doors because they want access to this funding. They want access to this capital. What's your advice on funding and how to get the right funding. Do I pay out of pocket? Do I finance? Do I look for funding opportunities if I'm just starting out and I want to make this happen? But I also want to build my portfolio too.
Definitely. Great question. There's a couple different ways. It depends on what level projects you're doing. But if you're starting out, I would definitely recommend you want to minimize using your own personal capital. My recommendation would be get with Coach K and get some grants to get started in real estate, business funding. You want to establish relationships with banks. You want to establish relationships with hard money lenders. That's a great way to come in as well. Or friends and family. Start there. Find some other people that are in business that have money. Like there are people that make money and all they do is work. They can't really invest the money. So they're looking for other vehicles to put money in and place it in. Obviously, you want to have some experience under your belt before you start taking other people's personal money. But you can start with banks. You can start with hard money lending. You can start with getting grants from Coach K. That would definitely be my recommendation. But start with the information first, then start raising the funds. Always be raising. ABR. Always be raising. That's important. Wherever you go. I could be in a funeral and I'm going to talk about real estate. I'm going to talk about projects that I got. People always asking, hey, what you need for this? What you need for that? Obviously, I've been in this business, long enough to have the resume for it. But for somebody starting out, people don't know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. They don't know what you don't tell them. They don't know what you don't show. So having the conversations and getting confident on speaking about money. Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised the amount of people that they're fearful and afraid to have discussions with friends and family about money. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you're confident in what you're talking about because people will feel that. They will know like, nah. And here's the other piece. When you're starting something new, people know you for something else, whatever you did last. Mm-hmm. So now they have to get comfortable with you now talking about this new thing. So you want to be as confident as possible to talk about it, know what you're saying, but just make sure you get the information first. Get some experience under your belt. The banks will give you money. You got a good credit profile. Get with somebody that understands how to properly apply for those credit cards and loans and credit lines and things like that. But if you can get some free money, you can get some grants to Coach K, that would be my recommendation to go that route.
You touched on something, and it's so funny that you said it. You mentioned having those money conversations. Mm-hmm. So I'm a country girl. I lived in Huntsville, Alabama forever, born and raised in Nashville. We don't have those money conversations, right? Mm-hmm. We're very private. So I come to Atlanta, and I'm in these rooms, and they're like, yo, how much you spending on ads this month? Mm-hmm. How much you make? And I'm like, I'm not telling you my business. Right. But it's a normal conversation. And once I opened up to those conversations, then they're like, oh, you're only spending $10,000 on ads? No, you need to do this because it's going to equate to this. Mm-hmm. Or, oh, you're only making this amount of money? Let me show you what to do to make this much mm-hmm. more. And so having those money conversations, I didn't realize how important it was, but how confident you get with having those conversations. Definitely. Until I got in this space and until I got in this room. So I love that you mentioned that. Well, we got so much value and so many gems in this episode today. Can you tell the audience where they can find you and how they can connect with you?
Oh man, I was just warming up. We was just getting ready to get busy. Yeah, my name is Meet the Emperor on Instagram, Demetrius Walker on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find me at any of those places.
Okay, love it. Any last gems that you can share with the audience on just how to invest in their business, how to grow their brand, or either how to just dive into the real estate world?
Definitely. We probably got to do another episode for the business side of things.
Definitely.
We got a lot to talk about there. What I would recommend is understanding that you don't have to do it all. You literally can be one piece of the pie. Don't be too prideful where you're not willing to share the pie, because that only brings more valuable opportunity and save you time. I think it's William Churchill, or I can't think of who the writer was, but that said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. Mm. And so when you think about investing, especially if it's something new, be a good resource. Everybody got to bring some type of value to the table. Get with other people that are already doing it. You may be the developer. I may be the credit person. This person may be the finance person. Like, there's so many pieces that it takes to build something great. I'm not talking about just doing one project, two projects. You want to prepare like anybody I work with, I like to start at the end and reverse engineer. So make sure that you understand you don't have to go at this alone. You can put a powerhouse team together, bring your resources, see what resources they have, and create a team that fits and literally hit the ground running.
Oh, that is so good. Listen, you guys, you just got another exclusive episode of Access Granted. Make sure you share this with at least 3 people. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.